Hi everyone, welcome to another KickoffLabs marketing chat. I'm really excited today to chat with you guys about this topic. It's how to collect 30,000 leads, which is a great goal for anybody starting a new business or pre-launching something on the internet. And the specific topic of this conversation is how to fake it before you make it and what kind of impact that can have on your perception, your ability to generate leads, and your success going forward. So I'm going to share some slides real quickly and do some quick introductions, and then we'll get right into a conversation. So if you guys would bear with me for a second, I can share some slides. All right. So you guys can see the slides there. Like I said, the topic is how to collect 30,000 leads by faking it before you make it. This is, I am Josh Ledgard, founder of KickoffLabs. So our platform makes it extremely easy to do viral lead generation, to set up launch contests or campaigns like this, or any type of viral contest in general. Today we're going to be talking with Sam Sumamonti. Say hi, Sam.
Hi.
And we're going to be talking about his company Kube and the launch of the company that they were working on. So Sam, I want to start out by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself and how this idea kind of came to life in your head.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm the co-founder of Kube, which is basically a book recommendation service. And we've been working on Kube since February 2015. And basically, everybody started with a personal story. I was reading a book that I found amazing, and which was East of Eden by John Steinbeck. And after I finished the book, I was like, I want to find a book that is quite the same, which makes me feel quite the same. And I found it very hard to find in a fast and reliable way a book that would answer a certain number of criterions. And I wondered, okay, maybe I'm not alone. I'm not alone having this problem. So everything started with this personal, problem. And I met my co-founder, who is Aurore, in New York. And actually, when we got back to France, we decided to start working on that project, and we decided to figure out if I was, the only one to have that kind of problem, or if other people shared that problem. So basically, between February 2015 and June 2015, we got into a huge phase of testing. So we had a group of people testing our minimum viable product, and we ended up in June with a great minimum viable product. So we decided that it was time to pre-launch Kube. And basically, at the time, we only had a minimum viable product. Today we are working with a lot of booksellers. We're working with a lot of publishers, but at the time we had nothing. We had no publishers, we had no booksellers, and we had just a minimum viable product. And we decided to pre-launch, and we decided, to kind of pretend we had a real product, and we had a lot of
So let's go back for a second, because a lot of people struggle to define this, and I'm curious. How did you define your minimum viable product? What was that to you, and what was it to the people who were opting into being part of that minimum viable product experience?
Yes, so basically our minimum viable product was really minimum. Basically, what Kube says, and what basically the promise of Kube is the following: we are going to find the perfect book for you. We are going to find the book that is going to change your life. And basically, what we did as the minimum viable product is we asked people what they wanted to read, and then we got in contact with booksellers, and we gave booksellers customers' requests, and they analyzed customers' requests, and then they told us, okay, for this customer, the perfect book is this one. For this customer, the perfect book is this one. And then, with my co-founder, we actually shipped the book to the customer. And then we started to analyze the well, people feedbacks. And at first, this was our minimum viable product.
And were
Then,
you charging money for this?
yes, it was the most important thing to us, because
Mhm.
our kind of mindset was the following: we would only consider a test to be reliable if people were okay to pay for it, because
Mhm.
a lot of people tell you, okay, your product is great, I'd like to use it and it's amazing, but actually the only way to be sure that people find your product amazing is to have them pay for it. So it was really important to us, to have people paying for the product.
And so I mean, this is sort of the first essence of faking it before you made it, because you were kind of faking that this product exists, because you and your co-founder were literally going and kind of manually matching books for people, curating them for people by talking to the booksellers, right? And then you were manually like shipping them yourselves, right?
Exactly, exactly. That was really minimum in this way as well. I mean, we were doing all the packaging by ourselves. We were doing, well, a lot of things that today are completely automated. Well, we were all doing by ourselves because it was the only way to know how to run this business. The only way to know how to run the business was to do it by yourself first.
And so, how many people were part of this minimum viable experience? Like, how many books did you guys end up shipping?
We had a group of around 100 testers. So basically, it's quite interesting, because those people, we got them in a quite interesting way. Basically, how to say that? We registered on, network on books on book networks, and on social networks of, well, book lovers, and we got into contact with, members of those websites. So we
Hmm.
basically sent private messages to those people telling them, okay, we have a great product that we are currently testing. Do you want to test it? And if you want to taste it, it's only, well, 15 euros. And we sent a lot of emails. We sent maybe 4,000 private messages to a lot of people. And then this is the way we gathered our 100, basically our 100 group of testers.
Yeah, I love that. I love that story because it's what I tell people all the time, which is you went and you found some niche communities online, which had people that could potentially be good customers for you, and you just actually went out and talked to them individually, and you engaged them in a conversation to get
Exactly.
them to tell you what they wanted out of a product like yours, and to get them to eventually sign up for your minimum viable product, right? I mean,
Exactly.
that's really what you were doing, and this is where so many people struggle, because they say, how do I go from 0 to 1 user? How do I go from 0 to 10 users? And how do I go from 0 to 100? And like the way you did it is exactly what I tell people all the time: is you have to go find these people online or offline and make a connection with them and work them one at a time. And you're going to lose money because you're spending your time having one-on-one conversations, and you can't be afraid to kind of lose money, either money or the form of time, which is money, because your time has a value to it, to do this. And that's the only way to really get started.
Yeah, that's the only way, And the funny thing is that basically it's thanks to this group of people that we were then able, to gather 30,000 leads, because it's those people who started to spread the information and to spread the word about our Kickoff Lab campaign. So it's really interesting, to go back to the very start of the story, because it's thanks to those people that we did such a campaign.
And let's talk quickly about the end of the story. So I'm going to jump way ahead to kind of the end of the campaigns and the story going on here. So you guys, through the Kickoff Labs campaign, converted or got over 30,000 total leads converted. Did you have any goals in mind before you started of what number you were shooting for?
Yes, we definitely had a certain number of goals, especially in terms of number of people we wanted to register. So basically, yes, we wanted at least 1,000 people to register in the first months of the campaign.
Hmm.
And so we were really happy to see that it was a lot more than that. But yes, for sure, we had this goal in mind. But it was completely amazing to see that actually this goal was completely kind of skyrocketed, and this was amazing because really it's, I think, basically we were able to gather well, this number of people because the people we were talking to were, as you said a bit earlier, were, you know, those people in the niche we first targeted. So those people were people that were really interested in our product and that were ready, you know, to ask all of their friends in order to you know to win the first cube ever. And basically this is the reason why we got so many people, because actually the people we were talking to had a deep interest in the product. So that's why it's very important to start with a small group of people, a small niche of people who have a strong interest in your product.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, you captured 32,000 leads, and the question some people always ask is, you know, what value does that have? Do you feel like the people you're able to, at this point now, you've been converting some of those 32,000 leads, like a good number of them, to actual customers of the service?
Yes, yes. This was the whole. This was one of the goals. Sorry, of the campaign. Basically, we had two main goals in mind. The first one was to have to gather a lot of leads in order to have a lot of people buying pre-orders in September. So this was the first goal. And the second goal was to, gather a lot of leads in order to demonstrate a huge traction and in order to be able to enter the market, the book industry, which is a quite hard, industry to enter in France. And yes, the goal actually was to convert, the maximum number of those leads. And what I mean by that is that we wanted the maximum number of people to buy pre-orders. So, between the moment when all those people, all those leads registered and on our website, and the moment when we launched our pre-orders, we went through a kind of 1 month period of education. And we educated all of those leads through email marketing. And email marketing was really something important in our strategy because it was, it was one of the main ways we converted those leads into customers.
Yeah, and you're happy with that conversion rate so far as it's been going?
Yes, yes, we were really happy because we had, almost a 20%, conversion rate. And today, today we are basically we are preparing our second kind of acquisition phase. But for now, we have around 1,000 customers each month, and all of those customers are actually people who registered on the landing page back in July, and people who are coming thanks to word of mouth and who are kind of organically generated leads. But we're completely, the business today and all of the customers we have are basically people who are crazy about the product and who registered last July, which is amazing.
Yeah, and I want to show the viewers a second set of numbers, which I think are just important questions people ask me all the time. They always ask for, and thank you for letting us share these numbers. What's a realistic goal in terms of conversion rate and the number of referrals? And so what people are seeing on this slide is that your campaign had a 32% conversion rate, which means visitors that came to the page converted at 32%, and nearly 70% of the conversions you got came from the referral campaign. So the features that KickoffLabs specifically enables to generate a sharing link and to reward people for sharing on the product. And so these are actually these are good numbers, but they're not they're not numbers. They're the numbers that are achievable for anybody that's willing to put in the work, which I want to talk about next about the campaign. But let's go look at kind of the first thing. So you wanted to gather these numbers, and so you set up a fairly simple landing page. So talk to me about the landing page that I'm sharing on the screen, and kind of, what led you to, to design a page like this or to build a page like this.
Yes, yes. Actually, we wanted to make something very, very, very simple. We got a lot of inspiration from Harry's, which is also, I think, one of your
Mhm.
inspiration. And the very important thing to us was to be, really. So, on this landing page, there is almost nothing except a beautiful picture of the product. Basically, a few words that explain what the product does,
Mhm.
and then, you only have a box where you can, give your email address in order to be informed of the launch and to participate in the contest in order to win one of the first 50 cube ever. So
Yep.
we wanted to have something very simple, and as you can see, there is no button on the landing page that could link to a Facebook page or one of our social networks,
Yep.
because we wanted people to be focused on one thing, which was just, giving their email address.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so important. And I'll tell you what I love about the page when I look at the page. In addition to the simplicity, you've got a beautiful product shot, a beautiful shot of the product, which makes it feel so real. And that's a challenge for so many people that don't have a concept of what it's going to look like. Is, to get people to sign up, it has to feel real, or else it doesn't seem like it's worthwhile.
Mhm.
And the picture
And
complements the text, right? You've got books in the background, you've got a box, and the text is really simple and it's clear and it states the what of the product. And so many people, they get caught up into trying to make something mysterious or the incentive, that they forget that it's really important for people to read the page and then really quickly understand what it is. And it just says simply, I'll read it. In partnership with independent booksellers, selects Kube, the book that perfectly matches your desire to read, and that perfectly explains the what in one sentence. And then you transition right above the call to action to a best practice, which is the call to action and why they should sign up today. And you're saying, be among the first to know, and you could get a 50% discount on pre-orders, right? And you went straight from the what to the why. Somebody should sign up. And that's just so straightforward, and it's so important that people think about this in simple terms for people that visit the page and don't have the context you have about the product.
Mhm, mhm. And the funny thing about this landing page is that actually the picture you see is just the picture of an empty box with tape on it. So it's basically what we mean when we say we faked it. It's at this time, the product, well, the product we are shipping today did not exist. It was only an empty box with tape on it, and this landing page was a mean to us in order to test the market fit and to see if there was a real traction for our product. But it means that basically you can test pretty well almost anything you want with a simple landing page, and that's that, I think.
I love it. I love it. So even the picture here is faked. You guys took a box and put your
Yeah.
logo on it and and put some nice tape around the box. I love that.
Yeah.
That's just awesome. Um, And then you had some alternate pages, like this one, which has a little bit of a different feel to it. Can you tell me about how you tested the pages and how you knew which one was worked best, or did one work better than the other?
Yes. We did actually some simple A/B testing, and we figured out quite fast that the first one was performing a bit better, and so basically we focused on the first one because it was quite good, and there was no big difference actually between the first one and the second one, and so we did some A/B testing, but I think we could have done better on that matter, because it's very, very important to always kind of iterate and
Mm-hmm.
try new things. But at that time we were completely under the water because we had a lot of people registering. we had the press contacting us, we had big publishers in press contacting us, and basically our landing page was doing the job, so we kept it.
Mm-hmm. So then, obviously, you saw that I showed the stat earlier that 70% of the people came from a referral, and
Mm-hmm.
this was your thank you page. And for people that that don't speak French, can you explain a little bit about what this page says?
Yep, sure. Basically, on the thank you page was well, we tried to do it simple as well. Basically, we had the choice between two things. The first thing was to offer a lot of different rewards, such as Aris did, for example. But at that time, we did not have the money to offer a large amount of rewards. So we decided to take the simple way, the easy way, and to offer only one reward. So basically, what we told people was, okay, give us your email. They ended up on that thank you page where they were told, thank you very much for registering. Now we are going to give you a personal link, and if you share that personal link on Facebook, on Twitter, or through email, and for example 10 of your friends register on our landing page through your personal link, then you're going to increase your chances to win one of the first Cube ever by 10. So we try to keep things simple and to focus all of the campaign around one thing, which was a contest to win one of the first Cube ever. And people were crazy. I mean, well, you don't see it on that page, but for example, we had someone who registered, who had, I think, maybe 3,000 friends registering on our landing page. So
Wow.
it was, once again, we tried to make things quite simple.
Yeah, no, it's that's also something that I love about the page is that you were really simple and straightforward, and people get caught up in the giveaway aspect, and they have 5 different prizes, and they have different levels, and they have a contest that's running at the same time, and it's really hard for people to understand what's in it for them, and so often it's better just to pick one direction and say, no, we're going to
Exactly.
go with this direction, and we're going to keep it
Mhm.
really simple so people understand why they're sharing, why they want to share, and what they'll get from sharing, or what they could
Right.
get from sharing. And again, that's another best practice I think that people could really learn from what you guys did here.
I
Um, and
I
so,
I completely, yep. Just one thing, I completely agree with you for one thing, because very often you're telling yourself, or maybe I'm not offering a number, a sufficient number of rewards
mhm,
to my leads, and you're telling yourself, oh my God, I should have people fighting to win 5 different rewards. But in
mhm,
the end, you have to trust your product, and when you have a good product, and when you see that people are really interested in your product, then you know that they might be ready to start fighting for your product. So I think it's very important to have a reward that basically is your product, and that is very simple.
mhm. Exactly. You can't let your insecurities about the product get in the way of being confident and saying,
Right.
this is what we believe you'll value, and because you had vetted that, you did the MVP testing even before you did this launch campaign to get traction.
Yes.
Um, and so you guys obviously you kept the images simple here in Facebook. Similar kind of thing as what we've seen before. When somebody clicks the sharing button on this page, if they share it on Facebook, they had a similar experience to what you might see here, where you were asking them to post on the timeline their referral link, and you were posting, a picture again of the product. Um, and whether you did this intentionally or not, it's interesting. People ask, what should the Facebook picture look like? And aside from not having some text in the image, what's nice about this image, it's a small little detail. is that the oranges in the lights and the lighting behind the product really contrasts with the blue people see through Facebook. And it's something that people miss all the time when they come up with Facebook ads and everything, is you want to think about how to make it stand out in somebody's feed. And you've got this really minimal image with some orange tones to it and some warm hues to it, which stands out when somebody comes into a Facebook feed and presents your offer to it to get their friends to click in and share.
Yeah, that was something very important to us. I think we spent one day trying to make a good picture, trying to shoot a good picture, because we wanted something very simple, but something which was kind of eye-catching, and that was really, you know, hard to find the right balance between simplicity and at the same time, you know, having a kind of picture that stands out. And in the end, we got that picture. It's quite amazing because I think people love that picture because it's very simple and it's quite comforting. And you know, when it comes to reading, you know, when you read, it's a moment when, well, basically you want to rest, and picture is very comforting. And you look at it, it's like you want to take a book and just, you know, be alone and read it. And it's really something we wanted to do, and it's very important, I think. You know, given you have almost nothing on your landing page, I think it's very important to have a picture that stands out and that you know, that tells a story.
Yep. And you guys had some Twitter share texting. Can you tell people what this says when people shared on Twitter?
Yes. Well, basically, I now, but you know, from what I remember, we were telling people, okay, if you discover, like, it was very simple. Once again, it's like it was a small presentation of Kube. So basically, Kube is a book box that sends you a book that, you know, the perfect book that will match your request. And then, you know, we were telling people, okay, if you discover the Cube through this link, and try to win one of the first Cube ever. So basically, it was just the message we had on our landing page, but it was, you know, it was kind of a little bit smaller in order to fit for Twitter.
I think what people should take away from this is, and the Facebook sharing and this sharing, is that you guys kept a consistent message with what you were doing. You didn't keep the landing page mysterious and then have one message, another message on the referral page, and then another message in the share link. You picked your message and you kept it consistent throughout the experience, which is so important because as a founder, we see it as easy. Well, I know what my product does. I know what the message is. I want to tell them all this other stuff that, you know, why it's going to be helpful to them or what's going to be great about the experience. And it's important not to get caught up in that and realize that you need to keep the message consistent, because it takes people 5 or 6 times to read something and experience it to really let it sink in what the experience is going to be with your product.
Yes, I totally agree. It's one of, I think it's one of the biggest risks as a founder, is that you assume that people know your product as much as you do. And it's a huge mistake, because people have a really small attention span, and you know, they see a lot of different products and all day long, and that's why you need to be really consistent, really simple, and really to the point. And that's what we try to do.
Awesome. So tell me how you guys promoted this page. I mean, if we go back and look at the stats here, the conversion rates. I mean, you guys went from almost nothing, you know, no leads, to all of a sudden, you know, 1,000 leads coming in a short amount of time. Can you talk about how you went from, you know, 100 people that were in your MVP to the first 1,000 people that signed up on the landing page? What did you do to get that first 1,000?
Yep, that's really an interesting part of the story, because we did not do a lot when it comes to that, because we had that group of basically 100 people that were crazy about the product, that were really engaged and well, very early adopters, and very, very, well, fans, basically, people that were crazy about the product. And we had that group of 100 people, and then, we got into contact with, of course, those people, and we told them what we wanted to do. We told them that basically we needed them in order to, in order for our pre-launch to be successful. And basically, it started from that point. I think it's almost everybody in our group of testers started to share the links, started to promote the landing page, and from that, basically, our audience it basically went from 100 to 30,000, well, quite organically, and without us doing a lot of things. And the amazing thing is that, I think it was during the first week, we had a lot of people registering, and so we had kind of the press contacting us, and the press as well started to tweet our landing page. We had articles. We had, for example, yes, like huge group of press and media starting to tweet about our startup, and it was also a way to keep having people registering constantly on the landing page. So everybody started with that group of 100 people, basically.
So tell me how you, I mean, I love it. So you take the 100 people who already bought in experiencing your product, and you turned them into influencers to get other people to sign up, and you made them part of your mission. You said, hey, if you guys like this product and you want it to succeed, we need your help. So you were just honest and just said, this is what we need, and if you love the product that we're doing, then you'll help us with this. And it sounds like they did. They did help you guys with that.
They helped us a lot, and it was really, it was really important for us to be completely transparent and to tell our customers that we needed them. And another important thing, in that matter is basically when people were registering on the landing page, and when they were giving away their email address, right after we were sending them an email saying, okay, please give us a hand. We need your help. Go like our Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And that is basically thanks to that kind of method that we built a community of people following us on social networks. And this way we had a lot of people and following us on our social networks. And this is amazing because very fast, actually, we had a lot of people liking our Facebook posts. We had a lot of people sharing. We had a huge reach on our publications on Facebook. We had, for example, we were only officially, we were a month old, and we had a 20,000 people reach on some of our Facebook posts. And all of that happened because at some point we asked our customers, okay, we need your help.
That's an amazing story. You mentioned within that the press were reaching out with you, and a lot of people struggle with, how do I get the press to take me seriously, or how do I get the press to mention us somewhere? And I'm curious, how did that work for you? How did you get press to cover, mention, or even care what you guys were doing?
Well, there is a thing to know, which is the following. It's that basically there is not a lot of innovation when it comes to book. So when you are doing something, in a realm where there is not a lot of innovation, and when you're doing that quite good, and when you demonstrate, a kind of traction, then things come quite naturally, and that's what happened. Among all of the people who registered on our landing page, we had a lot of of journalists actually who who were referred by friends or by family. So they discovered among the 30,000 people, of course, we had journalists that discovered the product, and they discovered they discovered it thanks to word of mouth. And actually, word of mouth was the best way for us to get contacted by the press, and that's exactly the case for Elle, for example. That's exactly the way we got contacted by Elle, because the girl, actually the journalist who made the article about us on Elle was referred by her sister, I think. So everything, well, came quite naturally, given we had a strong traction.
Hmm. So the question that came up, it goes back a little bit, but how long were you guys running the MVP for in terms of manually shipping this out before you did the pre-launch?
Yes, we've been doing that, between February 2015 and June 2015. So we've been, doing that during quite a long time, because it was very, very important for us to have a good MVP. So we tested a lot of different things, actually, until we had a product that was, generating a decent customer satisfaction. And that was really important to us, not to rush things. It was really important to us to feel that we were ready to start talking about our product, and it was really important for us to feel that we were ready to pre-launch it. And that's why, basically, for example, we had no social networks between February and July, because during all of that period we only wanted to build a great product. So I think one of the most important things is not to kind of over rush things.
Hmm. It becomes clear talking to you that it was a very deliberate strategy to validate the product first, and
Mhm.
then to go and know that you had something worthwhile to do a pre-launch for, which is a lot of people, I mean, people can have success the opposite way, but I think it's often harder to do because you don't know what the right messaging is for the product. And I think that's
Mhm.
probably why your messaging and the copy and the text you used was so straightforward throughout your campaign, because you'd already validated for months what the people were liking about the product. And so it made that
Mhm.
messaging choice a lot easier than it is for some people. Here's some examples of Facebook posts from July. I take it these are
Mhm.
celebrating the accomplishments of 1,000 people, 8,000 people, 10,000 people signing up.
Yep. It was very important to us to go step by step, but we really learned how to talk to our customers. We really learned how to talk to our niche. And then when we started to have traction, and when we started to talk on the social networks, then we kind of knew how to do it. And when we were posting those pictures of kind of celebration and saying, "Wow, that's amazing! We got 10,000 Cubers, we've got 10,000 people registered on the website," and we knew it was something that was really important to our community, and people were completely crazy about that, because they felt that they were kind of taking part, into something that really mattered to them as book lovers. And that was really important for us to build this community of book lovers crazy about our product.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to point this out because it is, you guys used a strategy which I've called before. It's the, making a movement strategy, and you clearly did this where you were making these influencers part of your movement to get the subscribers. And the important part of this that you didn't leave out, obviously, is that you celebrated publicly with them and said, "Hey, because of you guys, we have 1,000, we
Exactly.
have 8,000, we have 10,000." Because the only reason, one of the big reasons people keep sharing and keep on spreading the word of mouth is to feel like it's having an impact. If you ask people to help you out and do this thing, but you never showed them the impact and you never shared with them that we now had 10,000 people, they might stop being enthusiastic. So they're like, well, what impact is this having on, I don't know why I'm sharing. But you guys going out consistently, letting them know about the milestones, I think probably led to them being more engaged throughout your campaign, and you saw a longer spread of people sharing than what most people might see.
Yeah, exactly. That's really important, all the more that you ask people for help. So, from that point, when you ask people for help, then you have to say thank you to them. and that's why it was very important to us to, well, say thank you to them.
So how else did you engage with people that signed up? So as you were going through this campaign for a couple months, obviously they sign up, they get an automatic reply email that says, you know, thanks for signing up. You're asking them to follow you on Facebook. They're seeing these posts. What else did you do to engage people during the campaign to keep encouraging them to share?
One of the most important things, as I said earlier, was email marketing. This was really something important to us, and we kind of we went through a process of education through email marketing. So basically, people who are registered to our landing page, were sent a lot of emails in order to, well, get to know the product, get to know us, and create a strong link between our startup and them. And it was really, really important. I think that's the main process we used in order to create a community, in order to foster, sharing, and in order to have people really engaged. Basically, we sent, I think at that time we were sending a lot of emails. We were sending maybe an email, each week to our community, but they were amazing open rates. We had amazing click rates because people were, they were feeling that they were kind of part of a movement, and that they had an impact, when it came to our success. And that's what we tried also to to explain through all the emails we sent to them. We always try to tell them, you are part of that, and we are listening to you when it comes to building the product. We are listening to you when it comes to making an amazing product. That's why we had such a success when it comes to this campaign.
Did you do any form of paid advertising or marketing along the way?
No, zero. That's really something interesting. From the start, we've not been we've not spent one dime when it comes to paid advertising. It's all it's organic.
That's really cool. So tell me about, there's some pictures that I'll show about this an unboxing part of the campaign. So tell me how that fit into the campaign you guys are running.
Yes. So this is basically the second part of the campaign. Basically, between July and August, people registering, on our landing page, and then we started to sell the product on pre-orders in September. And this was really, we built this campaign in order for our pre-orders to be successful. So, on September, basically, we started selling pre-orders, and it was completely amazing because in 4 hours we sold 1,000 Kube, and that was completely amazing. And that's basically the second part of the campaign. That's the moment when we had to deliver the product that people were crazy about. And this was really complicated. This was really hard because we had to build the product in a short amount of time. And it was easy, of course, to test the product with a group of 100 customers. But then when you have 1,000 people who actually buy your product in 4 hours, then you have to be ready, and you better not mess up things. And it was really the second part of our work, which was in a short amount of time create a product that people are going to like. And then I think it was basically in October, at the end of the month of October, we started to ship the product, and people started receiving the product they had pre-order in November, I think. And then we had a lot of people starting to talk about the product. We had well, a huge amount of people, starting to take pictures of their product and starting to share it on social networks, and that was completely amazing. Of course, we had a number of people that were not completely satisfied about the product, which is something completely normal at the beginning. But in front of those people, we had maybe 90% of the people that were completely in love with the product and who started to, well, share it everywhere, and that is completely amazing. If you take a look, for example, out of Facebook page or on Twitter, you have a lot of people that posted their product, and it's something that it was really hard to deliver a product which was meeting their expectations, but we basically succeeded in doing so. And since then we've been building a product that now is a really, really, really a high quality product and an amazing product. So it basically the all that can a market fit. It was basically our goal, to have a good traction, to have a lot of people pre-ordering the Cube, to have a lot of people satisfied about the first shipments, and then to start building the product to deliver something which is now really, really great and that we are really proud of. And the great thing about the story is that thanks to all of that traction, a lot of important publishers, a lot of important actors in the book industry in France contacted us and started working with us. And today, we have the chance to be working with a lot of them, with a lot of huge companies in the book industry, and that is all thanks to the viral campaign we did.
Yeah. Which I'll selfishly point out was powered by KickoffLabs, if anybody wants to go ahead and try their own campaign. And the picture of the unboxing, the box, I took the picture off the screen, but the box had the sort of the same taped look to it as the fake box, so that fake box became a real thing, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. It's basically the fake thing became a real thing, and I mean it summarizes I think perfectly the story of the early stage of our startup.
Mm-hmm. No, that's absolutely incredible. Could I ask? We don't have too much time left. Is there anything that that I didn't cover that you feel like was important to the success of the campaign and your success now that you have that other people should know about?
No, I think we covered a lot of different aspects of that subject, and I think the important thing to know now is that we are going to launch a new campaign in September. Well, basically September, October, and we are going to use KickoffLabs once again. But that time we want to multiply by 10 the number of people who registered on our website the first time. So yes, it's going to be a real challenge for us to use KickoffLabs once again, and to do a campaign that is going to be once again a big success. So I will keep you updated on that matter.
I have no doubt that you guys are going to kill it with the new campaign. Keep the same strategy and just take everything you learned from the first time and just multiply it now that you've got a starting base of a few thousand customers instead of just a couple hundred. I think you can apply the same strategies, and I think it'll work really well. Somebody in the chat room said it was a great example of the raving fan strategy for building a list and building a bunch of fans and an army of supporters, and I absolutely agree with that. It was a great story, and thank you for taking the time to share it with our audience. We're going to go ahead and we will post a recap of this, and we will also have an article written up to go along with it that kind of teases out the important points along the way. And I look forward to your next campaign being a wild success and having you back again in a few months to talk about how you went from 30,000 to 300,000 people on
That's the next challenge
on your list of how you 10x'd what you did. So for anybody that's been listening or watching, I want to thank you for spending the time. If you're watching the recap, same thing. Thanks for spending the time. I hope you learned something. I am Josh at KickoffLabs.com. This was Sam Simamonti, and we were talking about Kube and how they went and got their first 30,000 fans using a viral growth platform, which in this case was our product, Kickoff Labs. So if any of you haven't tried it yet and you want to grow an email list, do a pre-launch, or grow a list, for, 10x your list, we've got the product to power that. So give us a try and let us know what you think. Any last words, Sam?
No, thank you very much.
Thanks. So, thanks again for being with us.
Thank you.
Have a great day and a good weekend.
You too. Bye.